Hello, everyone. Welcome to the downside. Russell, you look like you voted for Trump in the '90s.
I
You
did.
you look
Yeah.
like you got your headphones just look like a shooting range,
Yep.
and it's a good look. I mean, like it's like cool.
I will say when I wear these sunglasses, I feel like sometimes I like the look, and then sometimes I'm like, oh, it's lecherous Hollywood producer. Like,
I
hey,
like that.
hey, baby, I gotta go for you.
That's
Like
good
that.
character. That's good character for your next year's New Faces audition. Welcome to the downside. Listen, again, this is an episode of Russell's not on the main one, but we wanted to do a little intro, let you guys know what's going on with our lives. Even messier than normal today. I flew
Yeah.
Southwest. In fact, I made a post about how Southwest feels kind of nice. You don't have assigned seats, you have a number. So, like when you get ready to board the plane, have you ever flown Southwest, Russell?
No.
So like I'm A45. So you have to get in a line and you have to talk to each other to be like, what number are you? What number are you? So you all stack in a row and that's how you board the plane. And the people at the end usually get the middle seats and it feels communal. The bags are free. Check-in the bags are free, but they do come with a price. And that is they destroyed my duffel bag. And I mean like it wasn't on the baggage claim, so I was worried. I had to go. I'm flying to Baltimore for this college gig. And then I got it. It was ripped to pieces, strap broken in half, everything's wet. They say you can stay to file a claim. Then they offered me $200 and I was like, get out of here. I was not at my best. Not at my
Hmm.
best. But in a way, I was at my best because we'll see. And I hate it when people do this, but I'm using the powers that I have. My whole social media team has been instructed to post on every single platform, tagging Southwest, saying essentially "fuck you." So we'll
Yeah.
see. We'll get a report back. But listen, I have my health. Uh, I'm seeing Russell in like 3 days. And Russell, how are you doing?
I'm great. Honestly, uh, well, great in a way. I've been in New Orleans for almost a week now. Today's my last day. Um, I've had an amazing trip, lots to talk about. Mixed with this horrible thing, my dog had to have emergency surgery. We almost had to fly home,
No,
which,
why did he have to have emergency surgery?
well, I don't know. I think he was just playing too hard. He's 10 years old. He's an older dog.
Oh my
And
God.
I think he just, was wrestling with our other dog and did something to I don't know if he was wrestling, but he basically was like limping for a day. And then, and then they weren't sure if it was a neurological thing, like he had a stroke or something, but his back legs were paralyzed. He could not walk. So,
Oh
they
my God.
determined that it was not neurological. It was
Can
just,
I just ask real quick, when they
yeah.
called you, were you in the clown makeup that I saw when you
No,
received this
no, no,
news?
no.
What
No,
time of the day was it?
well, they contacted us Saturday being like, hey, he's limping a little bit. We're having our like vet like look at him. And the vet was like, it's fine. Here's the steroid just to help, he's just limping a little bit. Then the next day, the next morning, we were on our way to brunch and they called and they're like, it's bad. He can't walk. He's kind of,
Mm.
his back legs are paralyzed. It seems like maybe he's had a neurological thing, maybe he had a stroke. We need to take him to an emergency vet to get checked out. And that's when we were like, are we going to fly home to deal with this? And I kept being like, felt bad that I was like, obviously want to go and comfort and take care of my dog. But another part of me is like, oh, we've been planning this trip a long time. And oof,
Mhm, mhm.
are we just going to fly home to be like, yeah, put him down? Like, so I was like, let's wait until the vet says something because we don't know. It could be so many things. You know what I mean? Like it could be, and I was right because it was, he's going to have surgery and he's going to be there for 4 or 5 days anyways. So it was like, what are we going to, we're not going to
Sure.
go. Yeah. So he had surgery and now, it's looking like everything will be okay, but there's a 50-50 chance he'll walk again and a 50-50 chance that he will have to get like one of those like back leg. scooter things that
Oh my
like,
God, like a full
yeah,
wheels, two
yeah, yeah,
wheels.
yeah, yeah.
Um, Now is that how the doctor presents it? They're like 50-50, like,
Well,
or
no,
do
no,
you get to
actually
talk
what
to them
is
and be like, yeah,
No, what is funny is that he does the even weirder thing. He's like 50-50 chance it's this walks again, it'll just take a while, or doesn't walk again, or 5%. So you're like, okay, we're operating on a 105% scale here. He's like, or 5% chance that it spreads and it's actually bad, and it's kind of like, okay, we gotta, you know. So luckily, right now, knock on wood, they're not seeing any indications that it's that 5% thing. His reflexes are coming back, and the
oh my
bruising is
God, I didn't hear
getting
this part. Oh, so it's good. So you think it might be,
so far, but it's like paint, they said it's like watching paint dry. The healing is so slow that it's like a miracle would be like in a week he can walk again, but it could be weeks. It could be it's very slow healing process. So he had
um,
the surgery on Sunday, and now it's like we'll probably pick him up Friday.
do you, this is dumb and I mean it as a joke, but I also mean it
Yeah.
seriously. Do you FaceTime with the dog and go, hey buddy, love you?
No. Um, No, I think it would be stressful to him. Here's the thing: that it's the dog with the anxiety too. So even if we were there, I think I would be too upset about going to visit him and then being like, I think that's confusing for him to be like, we're visiting and then we're leaving, we're visiting then we're leaving. So I am
Sure.
like, okay, at least when we're gonna go see him, we're literally gonna be like, uh, getting him, taking him home when we finally see him. So
Now, if you
yeah,
were to see him and he had his dog phone out and he was just casually swiping through it, all the pictures of you partying in all the different costumes in New Orleans, just swiping with his nose, just looking at you like,
yeah,
have fun. Um, well, well, I'm glad it's looking like it's in the good percentage.
yeah,
These poor doctors, they probably want to be like, guys, we don't know. And everyone's like,
yeah.
what's the percent, doctor?
I know, I
And
know.
then one day they go, 28% this, 10%, I die before I do the surgery and I don't have to
Yeah.
deal with you anymore.
This
Um,
this this doctor, I will say, he has a very funny because we've only talked to him on the phone. We haven't seen him in person. And he's a very funny disposition where he'll like say something and then like let it linger for a while and you're like, I don't know what that means. Like he one of the first times we were talking to him, we were like, how's he doing? And like, the surgery went well. He's on fentanyl, which is amazing. And I was like, what is it? Like I was all I hear about it is that it kills people. Like what? Like my dog's on fentanyl? Like what? Like, but apparently it's common.
yeah,
You
you
know?
know how like chocolate's good for us, bad for dogs. Maybe fentanyl for dogs, that's like an orange juice. He's just feeling great. Um,
Yeah.
well, I'm really sorry you're dealing with that. Were you able to still have fun? I mean, we'll talk about it. So just so everyone knows, real quick. So this episode, Russell's not on it, but we've altered because I want to get Russell in a regular episode as soon as we could. We're going to be recording an episode in Chicago, unless something goes wrong. We're recording an episode in Chicago that's going to take a break, then another one without Russell, but then back. So we're getting him in. We're recording in Chicago. We got our live tour starting. Just started when this comes out, and we're doing it at the Hollywood Improv tonight. We just did Chicago, sold out tour, feeling really good about it. And so I want to hear more about New Orleans and these incredible costumes. I mean, it really made me go, could you prepare for downside shows with this level of, I've done so many shows with you,
Hmm.
and I've never seen more than a wig, a blouse, and then I swear it's like commedia dell'arte. I mean, and Nicole too. It's a wild.
I did a prosthetic eye. It was much easier than I thought to like do it and put it on and I let me tell you, agree. The costume thing I knew I had it prepped for like we knew we were doing it for a year, so it was like okay, I got to get this in order. So it was a big thing. But I would also say we should have a Patreon episode where we have Joseph on because we've got some stories
Oh
from
yeah.
our time yesterday, and I feel like it's enough to warrant. just a full thing on that because it's juicy. But I will also
Will it
have to
be?
talk to him ahead of time to be like, can we?
Oh, sure.
Is he open to it? Because it was just it's a fun kind of thing.
Sure.
And Douglas too. It was fun to have Douglas and Joseph here, and yeah.
Well, Paige, you heard it. If we're back in New York, if we want to check out Joseph, will they still be fresh in April,
Uh,
or you know?
Yeah, I think I mean it's not that like it's not like it's like related to Trump doing crazy
Sure.
shit, you know.
Because by then he will have cooled off. People will be like,
Yeah.
"What's this about? Trump's the normal guy." Um,
Yeah.
this episode's really good. That you guys are about to hear. Kristin Chirico filled in, and she was so good. We had her back on for
Love
the
her.
next episode we did too. I mean, just a joy. I got not for this one, but the next one I got a little bit stoned, and I was like, I felt right in the pocket. And I think it's funny. Tova, I played her one clip, and she was like, "Oh, you were high for this, weren't you?" And I was like, "Oh
Oh,
boy, we'll see." Um,
yeah.
but guys, please join the Patreon, patreon.com/downside. We are recording full episodes, me and Russell. I think the next one or the one after is going to be in person. And I'm almost back in New York, so we appreciate your support. Listen, these dog surgeries are not cheap. Russell needs
No.
this. Russell needs this.
Oh, hey, I have
Okay.
dog insurance, but it's not going to cover everything. Tell you that much.
What is it called? Does it have a fun name? Like
Dog
Bones?
insurance?
Yeah. What's the name of the
You know,
insurance?
I don't fucking know, man. I don't know. Truly don't know. My wife obviously set it up. But I know
Um,
that. Yeah, it'll
Well,
cover some.
Southwest, fuck you. If you want me to take what I just said out of the episode, pay me money.
By the way,
The
Gianmarco, we're just
sponsor.
gonna have to cover your fucking face for this whole thing. The camera quality is so bad that there is
Mm.
just no way that that is gonna look good. But it's
You,
DIY. You know, we're doing what we can on the fly.
well, you know what Paige said? I really respected you thinking this good. Is that we were going to record at the hotel, then they got delayed because of the bag. And she said, do it from the car. It'll feel real, or it'll feel like, and I was like,
Feels
that's right,
real.
Paige. Paige knows what we're doing here. It's reality television.
Yeah,
And thank you for tuning in. I love you, Russell. Love
I
you,
love
Paige.
you. I'll see you very
I
soon.
will. And good luck with everything. I hope the recovery keeps going well.
Thank you.
Downside. You're listening to The Downside. The Downside. With Gianmarco Soresi.
Cute hat.
Thank you. It's my Morton Salt hat.
I know that little girl. That
I
was
love her
weird.
so much. Isn't it? I feel like their merch has no business going this hard.
Who needs merch for
Were you
salt?
looking for it? Did you go to their
No,
website?
I made a tweet. I was at a Dodgers game, and there was a huge ad for Morton Salt, like right, in the outfield, probably so many millions of dollars. And I was just like, you don't have to. It's like the only salt I've ever heard of. Like you've cornered the market, and then they just sent me all this free shit. It was amazing. They sent me like a lifetime supply of salt. They sent me an umbrella, like the girl. They sent me an apron.
What's a lifetime supply of salt?
Okay, that's a good question.
Sorry.
It was a
I'm-
shitload
I'm-
of salt. No, you're right.
I'm
You're right.
interrogating you, and I need.
No, life is long. It was a lot. It was a lot.
That's
We're not
incredible.
through it, and it was like 3 years ago.
Ooh.
I know, and you kidding me? It's so cute.
And they don't sell it. That's what's exciting. You want the piece of merch that, like, if you work at, like, they give that to someone when they hit their 50th year working there, and then to one random comedian who had one viral tweet, and they said
right.
you've both equally contributed to this company in your lifetime.
I was really sick at a baseball game and had a bunch of cough medicine and made one tweet, and me and Roger have the same piece of merch now. Yeah, it's really insane.
This is the downside. I was just about to say Roger was buried in it, and then we had already moved on.
Piss off Roger's corpse.
Do you think they gave him a suit of the little girl?
I hope so.
Did she have an umbrella in the thing?
Right?
Yeah,
didn't
she
Am I
has an
thinking?
umbrella.
Yeah,
She has an
She doesn't
umbrella.
want salt to get on
when
her.
their slogan, and I don't know if this is true. I learned this after the tweet, but I believe that Morton Salt may have invented the phrase "when it rains, it pours," because before the iodization,
Iodization.
I don't know why I went into that I acted like I knew.
Well, you know what I mean.
I knew what I think it should sound like, but I was like, well, you don't know what that is.
It's the iodinization of the
It was
salt.
the that they did to it, where it used to be that salt would really clump up if it was like warm weather or humid at all. But they did something different, and so their slogan was, when it rains, it pours, as in the salt. And so she has a little umbrella.
They came up with that phrase?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know,
That
Gianmarco. I know.
When it rains, it pours.
I was told by a lot of salt enthusiasts.
I want to tweet something about it to see if I could get a free hat.
Yeah.
When it rains, it pours. Welcome to The Downside. My name is Gianmarco Soresi. Listen, we've been experimenting. I'm in LA. My dear friend, my co-host Russell Daniels, is in New York. We've been adding Riverside intros of, us doing online.
Love it.
But it's just sometimes when it's one-on-one, I become a different kind of interviewer. Somehow my dad gets brought up, and it gets brought up so much.
You were the other person.
Me, right out the gate. And also, I think when you have a co-host, one nice thing about like having a co-host who's been with you the whole time is I know what he's heard already.
Yes.
So he's there in my brain, and it prevents me from repeating too much.
Mm-hmm.
When it's someone brand new, there's something in me that goes like, oh, well, let me tell you about my dad. And then the listener at home is going, I'm going to kill myself. And so I hope you enjoyed those episodes. But I'm so excited to be joined. One of my rules for co-hosts, my loose podcast rules, I say if I'm going to have a sub-co-host, I want someone who not only was a guest, but a guest that we loved. And Kristin Chirico, thank you for joining us as Russell's sub today.
Yes, I feel like I could do a good Russell.
Oh, yeah?
Really?
Yeah, hold on. Well, I think I can do a good Russell.
I'm thrilled, please.
Hold on, wait. This is my Russell. Gianmarco.
Very
No.
good. Very good.
I don't know the man very well, but from what I've seen,
They have like kind of a daddy bear cub energy, I feel
cute
like.
as hell.
Daddy
Very-
bear cub, you just said like adult baby spirit.
Spirit. Which one of you is the spirit?
Well, I think it's more. I think it was more like Russell's very like, he's very like, don't do that, and you're very like, I'm gonna do that anyway.
Yeah, that's the general premise of the
Yeah.
Gianmarco.
Yes.
Gianmarco.
No.
Yeah.
But he's got a temper too. Oh, he's got a temper.
Does he lash
we were
out?
talking. No, he doesn't lash out. He's very sweet. When he's on stage, comedically, he yells in a way that the same way Chris Farley would like. You could tell there's a rage that's possible.
Yeah.
And so we were in Vancouver. He came. We did a live show for JFL, and we went out to a jazz club. We got drunk, and we started talking about. I'll just say it. It was about there was kind of all the Saturday Night Live. One thing that made Russell really mad. Who was the woman who ripped up the Pope's picture?
Shane O'Connor.
And Russell was just expressing, which people have said before, the general kind of looking back on her and being like, you know what, she was right. And Russell would be like, you fucking, and he's, in a way, in a safe space of our friendship, he's showing me what he wants to say to these people.
Right.
But like, man, you see, he taps in and he kind of, in a way that two actors, I'm like, okay, do your monologue, and I'll go, wow, yeah, you're right.
I value those people a lot. I feel like I have a lot of those people in my life whose rage I don't see very often, but when they're truly pissed off about something and they feel safe with you, they let it fly.
Yeah, when it rains, it pours.
It's like I always. It's like we're always saying.
We're always saying
here at the Downside Podcast.
So we're joined today by stand-up comedian Laura Peak.
Hello.
We go way back to JFL New Faces, and we'll talk about you in a second. I wanted to talk about. I went to the Magic Castle.
I was going to ask you about that. I wanted to wait.
Magic Castle.
I've never been.
It really lived up. It's for those who don't know, it's just the premier magic establishment in America. It's hard to get in. Like everyone has a story of either someone's a member or someone is whatever, but it's not like you can just sign up for reservations. No. But the food is excellent. It's kind of the whole layout is different. There's like a big showroom, but then there's little places where a magician will put on like a close-up magic. Yeah. Maybe one's just sitting down. There's a piano that plays whatever song you ask it to, but it's a ghost.
It's Irma.
Her name's Irma?
Her name's Irma.
Did not know Falsettos, the musical, I will say.
Unfortunate.
And then everything is magic. I don't know. You've been?
Oh, yeah. Oh yeah.
So in I don't know if it's every bathroom, but I went to this one bathroom. There was a box. You wave your hand under the box, and soap appears out of nowhere.
I think that's every bathroom.
So that's the joke I
comes
came
right
up
out
with.
of
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
You wave your hand underneath
but
it.
I did say it to someone, and they went, "Whoa, really?" And I did not break, and I said, "Mm-hmm."
Gianmarco, I'm gonna tell you that I was about 2 seconds away from being like, "That's fat." Wait, what?
That's
fascinating.
Literally, I was just like, does Gianmarco not wash his hands?
Never, not until the Magic Castle.
That was so funny.
That'd be a weird reveal for that story.
So it's definitely cool. I think I've talked to enough magicians that, and being in show business,
Right.
where the illusion can only go so far with me. I see it and I go, oh, this is the Comedy Cellar. These are like all these comedians. My girlfriend will make fun of like stand-up comics who like try to be so fucking cool, and she's like, "You're a clown, though." And it's the same with magicians. Where like I've met enough of them that when I see like, I'm like, come on, buddy.
It reads silly.
We've had 3 magicians on this show. Everyone has. I've tried to bring up David Copperfield, and each time they said, "Hey, can we cut out that part about David Copperfield?"
What? Really?
And we weren't even talking about the accusations. We were talking about other things about him. But apparently, he's very litigious.
He looms very large and is very litigious in these circles.
But it's even smaller. It would be like if you know, I've made talk shit about Dave Chappelle.
I was about to say,
but it would be like if Dave Chappelle was like. Or I think Seinfeld is more accurate for Copperfield, but it would be like if he was involved in... When someone dies in the magic community, they're all at the funeral.
Wow.
I'm not talking from that much authority, but I know it's much smaller than comedy.
Okay, yeah.
And so... And I hear David Copperfield is just crazy, and I don't doubt it based on his Vegas show.
To know that it's that small a community surprises me. And truly, do they feel like if I come for the king, like... Is he suing a lot
think
of
he
them?
sues. I know Harrison Greenbaum, he's a comedian who did the show. He's a comic in New York. He had something with Darren Criss, I think.
Oh.
It's small. It's like Vegas, the Magic Castle. It's not like there's one comedy club that's like the club. The Magic Castle is the thing.
But it's deceptively huge, though.
Yeah, I mean, you walk around.
You mean like just?
Oh yeah, like you. It's like an iceberg. Like you think it's gonna be the shack, and then like you're wandering around for hours, and it's like, where is the fucking exit?
Oh my god, I've been here for 5 years, not nary an invite.
Oh
Yeah, you gotta
go.
You gotta go.
What's happening?
You gotta
to me?
go. It's
The food was excellent too.
Really?
Uh-huh.
I always thought I figured that it was like, okay, everything's kind of a gimmick, like you're gonna, but it is like black tie, good dinner.
I had to borrow a tie from my friend Chris, a jacket from the person we were going with, and then shoes. It was a mess.
Okay.
I don't have this shit.
I want to see this hodgepodge outfit.
Do you not own a suit?
It's all in New York.
Oh.
It's all in New York, and I own one, and I don't like it.
Is everything okay, Gianmarco? I forgot that he wasn't at his home.
Yeah, I keep asking fans for like theater shows shirts, and I'm like, I need a suit. I need some socks.
He pulled me aside before his special taping. He said, "Can you loan me a tie?"
Yeah. Get ready, guys. I went full suit mode for the special. Normally, I hate dressing up, but I get it when you get there. I don't know. I just hate suits. And I just feel like as a man, all roads lead to suits in a way that I don't like.
Why do you hate suits? Like, what is it about them that you don't like?
I think, like, all our politicians are dressed in suits. So to me, like, suits are like the man and the system and whatever.
Sure.
My dad, like, he was just a slob. My dad's a slob. I mean, I don't want to emulate him. He's wearing biker pants and he's never doesn't own a bike. Tank tops and like old Armani suits, and that he would have the jacket over a wife beater. All these things. It's not good.
Okay.
But I just don't like clothes. I like to be a little bit naked. I like to be free. I like to kick, and you can't do that in a suit. And like to do like a cool suit, it's got to be in, multi-$1,000. That's a cool suit.
Yes.
If you try to make a regular suit cool, you look horrible.
You do. If you try to like tailoring costs so much money, and I'm not an adventurous. You're like a very stylish person. I'm not an adventurous dresser at all. I like don't use clothes to express myself a lot.
Sure.
I feel burdened by the fact that I have to be like clothed every day. I wish I had a uniform.
I do
truly
too.
But I'm like,
Yeah.
but women
But
can have
you put together an outfit.
you're
I mean,
fucking- you look
you're
cute all the
right. You
time.
could go to the Magic. You're the only one of the three of us who could go to the Magic
with
Castle after
open-toed
this recording.
If you put on this, what
Listen.
I'm wearing, you could go to the Magic Castle with her. I'd be turned away on
If you lend
sight.
me your tie with her body and the umbrella.
But women, I do hear what you're saying, because I think that women in dressing nicely have so many more options and can be so much more adventurous. All roads lead to suit, as you said, for men.
Yeah.
I think it's like a little bit of like it's a fear, maybe not for you, but I think for in general for men, like it's a fear of like I don't want to dress too gay, and so like
Yeah, right.
men feel like limited because like
What,
they
in a
don't-
suit?
No, because I think that like
That's not my fear.
no, I know.
I'll tell you that. I'm not like, don't
get
put that
less
suit
gay
on me.
than
I got a reputation to uphold over here.
But I think that like
gotta
for
buy
men traditionally, men think of like as dressing like very stylishly as being like flamboyant. And
Yeah.
so like they feel like limited by it.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, and if you're not like, I think that's an easy way to stay not good at it too. You know
Oh,
what I mean? And to
absolutely.
not like express yourself through it all. That's how I feel about clothes.
It's just, it's a uniform. And I never wore uniforms. My high school, we had no dress code. The only time I had to wear a suit as a kid, we had this thing called Mrs. Simpson's, where that was the name of the woman who ran it, but it was like it was the dance.
March?
Basically, the men would go on one side, the women, the boys would go on one side, the girls would go on one side, and for the first dance, the guys you'd run and pick a girl to dance with to do the box step. I think was the first dance, and then the women would get to pick, and you'd do the cha cha. I almost said cha cha slide, cha cha cha. And then you'd sit down and you would get a cookie for the lady, and she sat to your left. And it was like the most bare bones
Etiquette.
debutante,
Yeah.
like that kind of stuff. And it was always really sad because there were more boys than girls. And at the beginning, the boys stampeded to pick the girls that they
pointy
wanted.
wings.
And it was always like 8. It was the same people left every time. Yep. And one had 5 legs, and one had all
6
sorts of things on their
faces.
face, and it was you felt bad.
And they all wanted
You felt
the 5
bad.
girl.
Yeah.
So suits have no good memories. It's that
Yeah.
custody battles. It's all, I don't like it.
It all goes back to your dad.
It is.
It does.
It's the trauma. Your face.
And if you go too fancy, because the magicians, they all have like a suit with a little sparkle, or I can't. This one guy, he had eyebrows that went like he like kind of tied it up. It was cool.
That's
Okay.
fucking awesome.
I want to have him on the podcast, but I want a magician who fucking I want one who wants to talk some shit. I want a magician who has quit or who's been sued by David Copperfield.
Yes.
I need to talk to someone who wants to shit talk.
You need magician tell all. You can obfuscate his face. He can
Yeah.
have a voice changer thing, and he just tells you everything you need to know. He's been out of the
And
business
you
for
don't
a
have to
while.
tell me how the trick goes. Just talk to me about the
The
gossip.
bullshit. Yeah.
Because one comedian made a joke about like, well, some magicians just go on Facebook and give away how the trick works. And I thought like, this how small it is. Like they've been able to maintain a code of ethics.
Yeah.
Like if you think about comedy, I always think about how during like the cancel culture talking, like the height of it, there was a lot of talk about the comedy community in a way that I do not think we'll ever have again because we decided we don't. We're too
cannibalize each
big.
other, yes.
We have too many people that we hate everyone, that the idea of that community was shattered.
I agree.
And I think with magic, like there's some tricks, even if you go online, they're not like easy to find out how they're all done. Like there's a code that they do maintain. And I think that's admirable in today's world.
Sweet. It is. They're not
Yeah.
willing to scab.
I know, but then David Copperfield, but you gotta shit talk sometimes.
You gotta pick. You know what? You need to pick a magician who's terminally ill. You need to find one who's like
On his death.
18 months away, is like going out in a blaze of glory, and
Yeah.
it's like it is just like, you know what? I'm just gonna spill all the beans on my way out of town.
I want to know, how does the soap come out of the box?
That's so.
Just by this. I didn't pull on anything. I just went like this.
Are you gonna try this on stage? I'm really.
I am tonight.
Okay. Yes. I'm
I'm
really
excited.
curious about how.
But it's one of those, it won't get a laugh. 3 people will laugh. A bunch of people will go, what? And then I'll have to go, and then almost exactly like I did
Yeah.
here today.
Yeah.
This is the downside. For those of you just tuning in, this is a place where we complain, we get negative. We don't have to pretend things are good. Things are bad. And sometimes they can get better if you're honest about them. So you know, we're join the patreon.com/downside. 2 bonus episodes every month of me and my buddy Russell. We're also going to be posting footage from our live shows there as well. Can I say one more thing before we talk?
Of course.
Please, thank you. I don't even know. Talking about comedy community, I saw this thing today. This is going to come out like 2 weeks after it happened. But like, do you see this video that's going viral of it's a comedian I know named Jason. He goes up to Alec Baldwin while he's like packing his car, and as Trump like starts being like, "Tell me about the murders. What about the murders?" And Alec Baldwin snaps at him, and it's going viral or whatever. And it is such this thing where, like, speaking of the community aspect of it, where I go, I've made Alec Baldwin jokes.
Oh, wow,
I love a good Alec Baldwin joke.
We do.
And what happens is you get a bunch of comedians who take that side. They go, oh, that's to say an edgy joke, to say a thing, and then they go to the full extreme to literally, I'm going to harass him outside of his car, and there's enough of an audience to make it go viral. But all of a sudden, as I watch it, I go, ugh, I don't want to even do an Alec Baldwin joke anymore. It now feels so, and it's goddamn, it's just, there's a difference between comedy and being a troll, and it just sucks to watch because I saw it and I said, no more Alec Baldwin jokes because
that's done now. Yeah.
Because it's like, you ruined it.
Ruined it for everyone.
There's this degree of like, it's like, yeah, someone farting at the dinner table might be funny once. But then some guy goes, oh, that everyone laughed. I'm gonna take a shit on the turkey, and you go, well, that's not funny anymore. It's not funny. It's ruined. And then everyone's taking a shit, and it smells like shit. No one's laughing, and you can't control it. But you go back to like, we're supposed to like play with the rules, not just take a shit everywhere.
It's really it's very immature. All of that is just so immature to me. It's like, be clever, write a joke. Like, I don't. Those two people, Hilary and Alec Baldwin, have done some of the funniest things that have ever happened in America.
Sure.
They're so fun to make fun of. It's such a childlike thing to be like, oh, that's what we're into? Okay, I know how to be funny with this. And assault someone on the street. I did not see this. That's very sad. It does make me sad.
It's like a step above being a paparazzi photographer.
Of course.
Like,
of course.
Yeah, that's basically what you did, is you baited someone into content.
God.
I think we need to bring not the purge fully, but a punching purge. We need a little, and listen, I've never been punched, and I'm sure there's some people out there that are ready. But we need to, I feel like sometimes we try to create a world that's safe, and then some people just don't get a little punch now and then.
Yeah, a little bit.
I think we need it. I think we need it as society. We all need to go, okay. And I understand there's a lot of people where this is not ideal. Maybe, I don't know. We need to come up with rules instead of just workshopping it here.
Yeah.
Maybe just the fellas.
No, because I want to get in
there. No, there's some people. No.
I'd love to. Yeah, I need to punch.
I know, but if you go in, you go in, you know?
I saw there's too many people I'd like to hit right now.
I know, yeah. I mean, would you be worried that too many people would try to punch you?
I don't think there'd be too many people that would try to punch
He's going through his Rolodex.
I don't know. I don't think I'd be at that many people's like top, at least number one.
Hell no, that would be
I can't imagine who's number one.
Do you only get one punch? Is that the thing?
Well, if we could do one, I mean, I already know who it is. But it can't be that famous because then the problem is we can't all punch Elon Musk. You know what I mean?
I know, but that's like, he doesn't need to get punched. Like,
I think everyone can only be punched once.
Yeah,
everyone can only be punched once.
Okay, but if we're everybody can only be punched once. But if we're doing purge rules, you can punch as many people as you want in a single day.
I've never seen this pile of crap, but
oh god, I love the.
Is it good? I just don't like scary movies. I'm sure it's good.
It's amazing. Mm-hmm. Carson and I have a running joke where we say, I think we're just gonna stay in for the purge this year. just really think about what the day's about. It's gotten so corporate.
I used to know someone at BuzzFeed actually who was just like, I don't understand why in the purge they didn't just like go to Europe during the purge.
Was it worldwide purge? It was just America purge. It was just America. That's
just
so
America.
funny.
I'm sorry, I interrupted you.
That's so funny. That's so funny. We're going to Prague for the purge.
Yeah, she's like, why don't we go to Europe?
I like the idea of a corporate purge, like Bank of America.
Yeah, it's got sponsored by Bank of America.
Yeah.
Sponsored by Tesla every year. Yeah, I think if we're doing purge rules, everybody. Okay, I like that everybody can only get hit once,
Yeah.
but you can go around hitting as many people as you want as long as they haven't been hit yet. So I've got a running list. There are people who are too famous who I think should die. So I'm not even interested in punching them.
Sure.
But a rung below that, like a bunch of just racist idiots, just go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Connect really hard. I've learned how to box to do it.
Yeah, I mean, I bet there are some communities where a bunch of people wouldn't get punched, and so like you can just go and be like the designated puncher.
Yeah.
Because like people don't realize that they all need to be punched,
I
so
think
they
you
might
could-
not get punched.
I think rather you can't punch. I think someone can give you their punch. So someone could be like, "Hey, you can have my punch
Okay.
for the year."
I like that.
Just to save society.
And people who are like nonviolent or people who don't want to hurt people. Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah. Not anyone in this room,
I'll take all
but
the
people who are
fucking punches.
nonviolent.
I'm having the thought we have to start like kicking the shit out of people. Come across my mind like several times a day recently.
yeah.
I'm feeling violent.
All I know is you bring up Luigi on any comedy stage in this world, it will get an applause break, and you gotta. Some politicians gotta do something with that energy while it's still hot. God damn, he looks good in every
He
picture.
looks so.
And you
No
know,
one's
at least what
distraught.
I read, again, not that I know the inside of any of this, but they say, they say the people in the prison, they all support him. So they're, whoever knows how to cut hair is making sure he gets a fresh cut. But his eyebrows, listen, I can't maintain my eyebrows, and I got the whole world at my disposal. It's incredible. These thick Italian eyebrows.
No,
They're beautiful.
They're so well
Also,
done.
like courtroom lighting is notoriously bad.
Everybody looks like shit.
Everybody looks like shit. It's just like that man cannot find a bad angle. It's like he lost them. Like
God. And in his purity.
in his purity, yeah.
In his lightness of spirit.
It's like God was just like, congratulations, you are going to jail, but you will never take a bad photo ever again in your life.
Do we think there's any chance in the world that this man does not get a mistrial? I don't understand how it is even possible to try him.
Couldn't possibly know enough. I think there's no way he's not going to be in jail forever.
Really?
Unless someone or a bunch of people gather their fists together and save him.
And purge. Get on your bikes.
You know what I need to start looking up? I need to start looking up what is it illegal to say? Because I'm really like, especially on a comedy club stage,
Right.
especially that. Like, I think I was like loosely playing around with the joke. Like, what I like about Luigi the most is that he gave us a synonym for assassinate. So like, it's okay for me to say, and then I listed 3 people I thought should be Luigi'd, and I'm like, is that okay?
It's fine. I think I've listen. I'm no expert, but I have to believe that that's fine. You found a loophole. You really did.
I would say it's probably not.
Damn it.
But if I say Luigi though, so I'm not saying the word.
But people understand. I mean, it's kind of like all words are made up. Like all synonyms are made up. It's like contextually people know what you're talking about. It's a dog whistle.
Definitely a dog whistle.
The left has a dog whistle.
I was about
for
to
the
say.
first fucking
Yeah,
time.
let-
We
it's
finally
about
have
time.
our
Let
own
us have
fucking
one.
dog whistle.
It's about time.
I just know he's talking
Is
about
there a cat
Luigi.
whistle? Is there such a thing as a cat whistle?
Cats don't listen to whistles.
Sure.
I like calling it a cat whistle regardless. I think that's a fun way to rebrand.
Okay.
Girly.
Yeah.
How did all 3 of us 2016? Did we own Pussy Grabs Back T-shirts?
No.
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 Really?
It's so corny.
No.
Really? Even then, you
so
were
gross.
aware.
Yeah.
Then it was corny.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, I
it's
was
so
corny
silly.
then.
Good for you. Good for
I
you.
had the eye
You
with
needed
her.
to be. You need to serve your time being
I
corny.
did.
Yeah.
I did. Because I went to college for musical theater, I really feel like I started 4 years after of like social consciousness. I was
Totally.
busy reading music. So
when you
I
got on
forgive
board,
myself.
you got on board.
Yeah, but
in
I
a
just like
cheesy
I didn't
way.
realize Hillary Clinton's a war criminal
Sure,
at the
of
time.
course.
I just said Pussy Grabs Back. Pussy Grabs Back.
I'm glad that you admit that openly.
You know how places where they have, where there's intense poverty or they need clothes, like oftentimes with Super Bowl, they'll print all the shirts of the team that lost, but it says they won. I just wonder if there's any village somewhere where all the kids are going to school. Their uniform, in fact, is Pussy Grabs Back hats and
The
shirts.
beanie.
And
Gianmarco.
ties.
No.
I think it's got to be possible. There was a lot of those shirts.
I mean, yeah, they're probably like in fact, like most textile waste like goes to like Africa. Like,
It does,
it's like
yeah.
it's like a serious problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So you're probably right, but
Yeah,
you
they
shouldn't
think
say
Hillary
it.
won. They think things are great there. So, Laura, you were gonna do the podcast. Do you care talking about the story again?
what?
The colonoscopy.
Oh no, I love talking about my
Yeah.
colonoscopy.
So Laura was gonna do the podcast.
Yeah.
And it was like in the height of the fires. Did I let that deter my podcast schedule? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Did my girlfriend call in the middle of the session? We actually did, screaming because I did not have my phone on. I had it flipped over. I turned it over. I turned it over. People know if they listen, but we did not keep it in. It was so she called. I saw I had 6 missed calls, and I was like, "Oh shit, my bad." I was like, "Keep it rolling, keep it rolling." Hey, baby, and it was my girlfriend who lived through Katrina. Was mad.
Yes, sure.
She was mad,
Sure.
and it was like
Well,
right by the mic, and I was like, "Okay."
You thought it was gonna be a cute little bit.
I thought it was gonna be like,
Where?
Gianmarco, I'm gonna send you to the moon.
One of these days.
And no,
You
no.
fucking piece of shit.
Yep, you fucking liar.
Oh
You
my
fucking
God.
liar.
Oh my god.
The only people who have seen it are me, Paige, my producer, Dave, my editor,
Oh my god.
and then the guests in the room,
Oh my god. Who'd you have with you?
Sam Morrison. I mean, it was a moment where everyone was like, "Okay, we're not funny anymore. We're all it's a serious time."
Also, it was very much time to be scared within the window between when he and I talked, because we talked that morning.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Listen, I don't know." I was like, "The fires are everywhere, and also I'm potentially having a colonoscopy."
So yes, so you told me basically when I first called, you said you had this colonoscopy, and for the day before the colonoscopy, you have to drink
This liquid.
that makes you just shit.
Incredibly intense laxative that you drink. It's a jug that is about yay big. And
Wait, really that
yes,
big?
Yes, it is this
What
much
does it
water.
taste like?
People told me, have you had
Like
one?
yeah, oh yeah.
Somebody told me it was going to be disgusting. It tasted like a
What did you say? Chocolate?
a little chalky.
Oh, I thought you said chocolate. I was like, chocolate.
I love it.
They got like so many people were like, "Oh, it's awful." I was like, "Wait, it tastes like a bad like electrolyte beverage. It tastes like a bad Gatorade or something."
Yeah.
Not truly not that bad. But you drink. I mean, it's how many? I don't know.
It's
How many
huge.
fucking
You
quarts
drink
is
it
that?
for like 48 hours.
So it must be really strong, so they have to water it down.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's
So-
incredibly strong.
So basically, the process was like you were waiting for them to cancel the colonoscopy because if they weren't canceling it, you'd have to take it all.
Yes.
But ultimately, they hadn't canceled it by like 4 or 5 p.m.
They hadn't canceled it by 4 p.m. Oh, no. It was in Altadena. I mean, their neighborhood was like where I was getting it done was like on fire. And they hadn't canceled. And then I can't remember when we talked again, but at like 5, I took the first like dose of the stuff and then looked at the Watch Duty app and I was like, I'm fucking canceling that. That's insane. I'm canceling this. There's no way. So I shit for a while.
How
And then we did have
quick
to
are we
evacuate.
talking? How quick? Like
It takes a while to kick in. So it was like around like 7:30. I was like, oh boy.
And you knew there was a moment of like,
and see, I mean, the way I have to say, loved it.
oh yeah.
What?
Felt so good.
I can't believe you said
know.
and scene, by the way. I caught it. And scene.
It was.
But you were evacuating at that time?
It was directly after that we had to evacuate. So I shit for a while. We ran, and then I live at the base of Runyon Canyon in Hollywood. Oh my god! And so it was just like I just been watching that fucking app all day, and then they hadn't said it or they hadn't updated it in a while, and then I just started to like hear just sirens and helicopters everywhere, and looked up and was like, oh, this room is full of smoke. Like this room is filled up with smoke
From the shitting.
God,
Oh my
set
God.
Runyon Canyon on fire.
Oh my god.
Can you imagine you're looking at the app and there's a new emoji on the screen? And you're like, what is there? Oh no, that one's growing real fast. It's knocking out the fires.
It's on top of.
It's stopping the fires.
Who is this hero? I'm on the toilet just losing. Somebody's doing great work.
Oh man.
It was horrific.
Then they honor you at all the shows, and they
yeah.
the fire department. Yes. But more importantly,
You pat your stomach at the same
I know,
time.
it's terrible.
Really, if you acknowledge the real.
Oh fuck. So okay, so you took the initial shit,
Yes.
then you had to go.
And then I had to go. And then we stayed the night at a friend's house, which, very funny, we could literally see the fire better than we could when we were technically further away, but it was like we were in East Hollywood. It was like right there. But I guess we were far away enough for me to feel we were out of an evacuation zone at least. And then pooped for a little while longer at my shout out Ben and Dylan. Thanks for letting me shit in your bathroom all night. And
Was it stressful? I mean, was you just like a constant like, guys?
Well,
this is my area today.
Well, it was like I canceled it, so you don't eat. That's the thing. The whole day before, you're starving yourself essentially. And so I was like, I'm fucking canceling this. I'm getting a massive sandwich and some pizza with my friends.
Yeah.
And then we're going to sit around and watch old movies while the fire burns or whatever. But it was the most, I mean, we drove away from Runyon and it was like there were people on the street, like all over Sunset, just with their phones out. One of the most apocalyptic things I've ever seen in my entire life. And we just turned around. It was just like a wall of fire, like right behind our house. So it was like the fight or flight and actual, like, I remember looking at it and being like, that is very traumatic. That's gonna stay in my head for the rest of my life. So the actual fight or flight was already like, I'm a stomach girl. I'm like a.
Oh sure.
This is a reason I have to get a colonoscopy at 33. I got a lot wrong with my stomach. I'm a very anxious woman, and I shit all the time anyway. And so it was like, now you're like in the middle of a natural disaster on laxatives. Running from
Oh my god! And you had to do the prep all over.
I had to do the prep all over again. I was grateful that I didn't get further into it than I did, but yes, had to do the prep all over again, and I don't have.
But you said you
cancer in my
liked it.
butt.
Yeah. Why are we high fiving?
Oh, because I don't have cancer in my butt. I finally got.
Yeah. Okay, that's good reason. I mean, listen, I'll high five whatever. But like,
Yeah. So finally got it done. It was fine. What did you just ask me?
Did you need to do it, or were you just scared?
No,
you
my doctor recommended it because I have so many I just have so many issues that are not being changed by diet.
Sure.
I am incredibly anxious, and I think I do. I just give myself diarrhea all day, every day.
you do your own
I think the
prep.
stuff is your anxiety. Again, we've only spent so much time together, but your anxiety presents itself certainly different from. I would never know, other than the research I did for this, that you feel like an anxious person.
Yeah. Yes, I've had a few friends have said that to me. I think I'm a big fat phony, and so I don't show it to people all the time. But it's bad. It's really bad. I got OCD. I do all the stuff.
Sure, but
Yeah.
but you can only fake it. Like my anxiety, you see me move. If it's before like a taping, people come up and they go, "Are you okay?
Are you gonna be all right?"
And I go, that makes it worse. Everything's bad.
100%.
But it's very ticky and
Physical.
all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
But are you? I've never seen you pacing.
Yeah, it's just all, and I am extremely extroverted, and I think generally am happier around people.
Okay.
So like I can really be soothed and my anxiety quelled by especially comedians. I like my job. I like doing this. So I can really be relaxed by being around people. When I'm alone, it is not good. It's kind of a constant spiral. And I'm trying to find ways as an adult woman to ameliorate that, but I've been bad at it so far.
What's been your? I'll start with. So I certainly have some level of OCD.
Mm-hmm.
My lowest point, again, it's fine, was like I had a lot of death anxiety in college.
Yeah.
Just like, and I always had it as a kid. Like I think there was an Are You Afraid of the Dark episode that triggered it. There was a Final Destination.
Yeah.
Movies really
Those were so
could. But I'd start thinking about death and asking about death, and there was no good answer. And then college, I truly like a mix of being obsessed with work and not having a healthy social life, and having like a girlfriend who was not to accuse her of enabling, but like was just kind of feeding the beast of my anxiety.
Yep.
In an attempt to and there was a period of time where I spent so many hours, or at night I would just be like looking up some scientist that said something about dying that might be a little bit comforting, and then
wow, I've been
immediately I remember I remember a Yahoo News article, like Stephen Hawking had always said the term God in a very loose way, possibly to ameliorate his Christian wife at the time, but also in a very metaphorical way. And then like Yahoo News, I remember it was like Stephen Hawking says there's no God, and I was just like, it was like a fucking spiral of anxiety. And and it just eventually faded. But what for you?
Can I ask you one question about that? Because I talked to a lot of people who have been similarly like obsessive like this. But was there a factor in your life or a circumstance in your life that you feel created that change where it dissipated?
No, honestly I've been working on a bit that like the only thing I found to like when I start having those dark thoughts, what happens when you die, is I go and then I move on, and like that's or even mentally, like there just is no. I kept trying to like find an answer through.
There is nothing,
and there is nothing.
Yeah, there is nothing.
or like. But yeah.
There's not going to be anything definitive that you're going to read that's going to,
Make you feel better.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially, listen, I'm always like, I think I've always been like, there's some drugs that I'm like, I'd rather save on the off chance that if I took it, then I go, there's God.
Oh, fun. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
But ultimately, it just kind of faded with other things, and it chilled out. It just chilled out. I went through a phase, and I still go through phases. And it used to have when I was high, I would get really there, and now I'm a little more in control, and I can tell my own comforting lies to myself if I want to.
That's what living is.
Yes.
That's what learning how to be alone.
But I don't know if I could go back in time, and if I had like a day with myself, I don't know what I'd say. Other than, hey, I traveled back from time. Probably a god, if that's possible. So
at least magic, some sort of magic.
Something. But what about you? When were you figure this out that you had OCD?
I was not diagnosed until like probably about 2.5 years ago from a therapist here in LA who like specialized in it. But for years and years and years, my worst years for this were definitely college. And mine started with massive hypochondria. Though they don't call it that anymore. Somatic anxiety is what they call it.
They don't call it hypochondria anymore?
They don't call it, that's not a term they're using anymore.
Somatic anxiety.
Somatic anxiety, I have some thoughts about this.
It's like a type of checking, right?
Yes, it's
checking OCD.
Yes, exactly. But I'm like, at least hypochondria sounds like something. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it has hype in it.
Yeah, it's fucking
yeah. It starts with hype.
I'm getting hype.
It goes down from there, but
Drea, ew.
Gross.
It's very funny.
What would you do? What were your checks?
My checks were there were many, and I came online with this during like the time I started having sex, and I would be like obsessed with STDs, obsessed, and
beyond, because I feel like we all have some degree,
a healthy level, to the point that I was being literally as careful as a person could be, and was still like, you are pregnant, you have STDs, and would get so obsessive about it, would go and get.
May I ask, would you wear protection?
Yes. I was being very safe.
Yeah.
I was being very safe because I was terrified of it, but then would convince myself, regardless, that it was happening to me.
Would you go online and Google like
many steps? Okay, so I lived Googling. That was all I did. I loved college for like a couple years, and then I started to literally do poorly in college because of how I couldn't tear myself away from searching things on the internet. And then I would compulsively go to doctors and get things proven to me over and over and over again. And I just wasted like a massive amount of money on being told, you don't have this, you don't have that.
Did they ever say to you like, hey, you're coming in here a lot?
Yep. Our health clinic at college told me that. And, I remember the doctor had this like wonderful bedside manner, and she was so cool about it. But I was right back there like 4 weeks later. My gynecologist, who from the time that I started going to the gynecologist, was like, I don't know what to do here, but you got to cool it. You don't have this stuff, whatever. So I would obsess, constantly get checked. And then that sort of expanded from just like sexual behavior into any sort of physical ailment. So I was sure I had cancer. I was sure that I had tumors. I'm constantly like feeling my own body for them. And that went on for many, many years.
And sex stuff was the gateway into that kind of checking.
It was. I was raised in the Catholic Church. I think that there was a certain level of like shame or guilt that I had that was like fueling those thoughts. But then and I would try to tell myself that when I was younger, but then it just ran rampant in a way where it was like my life is kind of like not livable. So got into therapy for it, have been in and out of therapy for it for a very long time. And like you said, I'm always curious about when and how it is quelled, because I'm medicated and that has helped. I'm medicated for depression and for this, but like that has helped. But there has been a true sort of, I'm not okay, but there has been a true sort of switch in my brain to where I'm not absolutely losing my shit every second of every day.
Did you have like a trauma as a kid? Like, I realize it's a very heavy question to ask you.
No, that's basically the premise.
Yeah,
Kind of smooth it over,
it
like,
is.
so. Is your kid anything a little wonky happen?
Yes, did and do, and didn't deal with that straight away at all. Like no one does. I mean, are you kidding me? If you're like a kid, but then I got with my husband. We've been together 10 years, so it was like I got into it, and he is the least neurotic person I have ever met in my entire life. He does not live up here. He's very calm, very smart, very like stoic man. And it helped me a lot to just be around him to like absorb his energy sometimes. But when I started to see a like OCD therapist in earnest, you just don't know the patterns of your own behavior and how common all of this is until you talk to a person who's just like, yeah, you have pure. A lot of people don't believe in pure OCD, but what I was diagnosed with is pure OCD because I don't have physical tics.
I have pure OCD, so
Oh my god.
Okay, what's the difference between pure OCD?
Yeah, it's pure OCD is it's only obsessions. Like the compulsion you have is the obsession itself.
Mm-hmm.
So like you feel like in OCD, like you're obsessed with something bad gonna happen, and then you do compulsions. You do like you
fix this.
You have to fix like I'm gonna turn this knob 8 times or whatever like that. Like that's your compulsion. In pure OCD, the obsession itself is the compulsion. Like you feel compelled to obsess about the thing over and over and over again.
Okay.
And obsessing about the thing soothes you a little bit to a certain degree.
Yes.
So like it's called pure O because it's just obsessional OCD. It's not.
And then, so what do you have?
I have Puro.
You have Puro.
Yeah.
Okay, and you have Puro as well?
So I have Puro and I also have hoarding OCD. I have two,
do you?
2 kinds. Yeah.
Oh my god. Wait, how does that
manifest?
Yeah.
My apartment is a mess unless someone comes and regularly cleans it out.
Gotcha.
Like every month or so.
Okay. And what are the thoughts associated with that?
I'm afraid that if I get rid of something, I'll never be able to access it ever again. I'm terrified of letting go of objects because like objects are how I feel safe and secure because of, the trauma. And so like I can't, basically as I move from apartment to apartment, I'm like, I can't get rid of this stuffed animal from 20 years ago.
That. Yes. Okay.
I'm going to need him. He might help me cure cancer. I don't know. Like I like the other day I was looking through bins looking for a stuffed animal that I had when I was like 5.
No,
I couldn't. I was just like, this is why I'm not allowed to get rid of things because I'm going to freak out. And it's like, it's not, you just hold on to things because you think that like having things around you will make you feel safe.
A security of some kind.
So what would it call if I have the OCD? My therapist called it mild OCD, which is obviously not a real term, but it was just like, I have a little bit of the oven checks where if I'm stressed about something, I have plenty of times I go down the stairs and I have to go back up to do every doorknob of mine is looser because I have checked it way more than a human being normally would.
That's the
and
compulsion.
that's the leftovers, and it used to be worse. It used to be under the bed, used to be locks, but what would that be? I took a mental health class in college, and it is good just to realize how new it all is, how bad it all used to be, how far like you just go back to therapy back to the 1900s or be like, oh, she's a little nuts, we'll take all her teeth out. That's where the crazy is.
And lobotomize me.
and like I think it could do 2 things. Like one, I certainly think people can take what are terms that some of which were invented recently and use it to fully define their life, and also have sympathy of like, this is the best we got right now, and you can utilize it while questioning the integrity. I think it kind of goes both ways where some people get, I think it's interesting at college shows, I'll talk about, being anxiety. And I wouldn't say it's like an anxiety chunk, but I just bring up being anxious.
Yeah.
And it's funny how all the kids will go, woo! And I'm like, I just feel like the definition is we can't all have it.
It's true.
There's no way we all have. If we all have it, then that's just human. And maybe that is a thing too, but that's still...
I don't think that's it. I think that you're just over-indexing on people who have anxiety.
Oh, very well.
Yeah.
Very true.
Yeah.
For sure.
Like, there are definitely guys, like, wandering around with, like, 4 flip collars and, like, a backwards hat being like, everything's fucking good.
Yeah, everything's gravy, baby.
Those people aren't showing up for you.
Or
Yes.
even, like, I mean, I hate to use him as an example again, but, like, like my husband's like, he's very worried. He's very scared about the state of the world, certainly. And he worries such a normal amount about things that are worrisome. Like it never crosses the line. And I don't think would ever identify himself as anxious because he's not, because it takes that like next step of just being like, I mean, what? Like it's disruptive to my life. It's disruptive to how I function.
Yeah.
And I think you're right. I don't know if it's over identifying with it, but things are bad and it's hard not to be really scared, I think. And to draw the line between those two things is difficult. Like what is a clinical diagnosis of something versus just being like, I'm really not having a good time.
Clinical diagnosis is if it disrupts your life.
That's
right.
And you
so if it disrupts your life, then like like the fact that like you have things in your house that are broken.
Sure, but it's still like pretty. Like I've never been late to a thing. I've always been very functional in a way, even when I'm at my most depressed. Like I'm a functional person in a way where my mom would always say it's always a thing where I'm like, everyone just assumes I'll be fine. And it's because, but I had to do that.
Yeah.
And like, there's sometimes a resentment of wanting to be like, I'm not doing great. I'm still going to show up to the thing because you show up to the thing.
Yes, totally.
Yeah.
But I'd like someone, and that can be tough.
You know what? I was literally, I do not know you very well. I like you a lot. I was thinking to myself on the way here because I was late. I'm sorry, everyone. I was late. We're
going to release this late, too.
Okay, yeah.
Just so you feel what I felt.
I was late, but I was on my way, and I was like, I was texting Gianmarco, and I was like, Gianmarco is not the type of person that I would give an excuse to for being late. Like he's not gonna be late. I had this thought.
Sure.
About like, I know you're like neurotic. I know you have a million different things going on, but you seem to be the type of person that keeps an appointment, that doesn't make excuses for itself. I think this is a very good quality.
I was taught though. I did a musical theater camp once, and there was a pianist there who had performed on Broadway. I don't know how big he was, in the grand scheme looking back, but at the time it was like he performed on Broadway and worked with Stephen Sondheim. Yeah. And each student got to come in early one class, and it was like 7 a.m, where you do not want to be singing, period. But he would coach you through a song.
Oh wow!
And I don't know what happened. I was shaving that morning, and I just was late. I was tired, and I strolled in there late. And this guy fucking tore me a new asshole. And I remember it distinctly. And then the worst part was, and I think this is where it really stuck in. First, I respected him too. And then he said, we'll just go through the song anyway. As the class is coming in and it's early, I'm cracking on all the high notes. So there was like also this humiliation tied to it. Now I felt
talk about a trauma.
And listen, I felt awful. I'm not the type to be like, well, fuck that guy.
No.
At least at that age. And so he could tell. And at the end, he gave me like some kind of wink that let me know that he saw that I took him seriously. And let me tell you, that lesson is ingrained in me. I think one of the biggest issues with getting older, and I do it the same too, is we don't want to be shamed. We don't want to feel bad. We have a lot of good reasoning skills to get out of anything, and I think it can prevent us from learning. I like an angry teacher. I like a mean teacher, and I understand all the pratfalls, and I understand like my privileges and why I got the best version of it.
Yeah,
but I know certainly adults who start acting later in life and taking acting classes, and I'm like, you're not willing to fucking like feel like shit enough to become good at this thing.
That's very interesting.
And I don't know if I could with something else too. It's hard. You got to be willing to go there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Same thing with comedy. People who start stand-up comedy later, like you. I couldn't recreate the bombings that I had to deal with in my first couple years. Yeah. It would be really hard.
I don't know if I could. I don't know if I could handle that.
I go to those shows now. I go, I'm not doing this. The mic's not working.
I'm not.
There's no lights. I'm not. I'm not going to go here for a year.
I'm coming back every Wednesday. Here. No.
That is, I feel like, as someone who started stand up like later in their life, that is like the hardest lesson that you have to learn, is that like, yeah, you may know a lot about one thing, but like you basically just have to like acknowledge that you were going to be fucking terrible for a while.
Yeah.
And that's just kind of, you have to sit with that discomfort. And
Yeah.
you sit with that discomfort while sitting in an older person's body.
Yeah.
So it's not even that, like, it's not even you're bad plus you're hot. It's like you're bad plus you're you now.
I'm as old as I have been.
I'm as old as I am, plus I'm terrible. Like it's there's an unbearable nature to it that I think a lot of people can't tolerate. It's hard.
Yeah, it's not easy entering a new. I remember there was some comedy club that like they wouldn't book me, and the booker was like 23, and I think I was like 34, and there's part of me that wanted to be like, I'll kill you, like. Like, what are you talking about? You're a child and I'm an adult.
Put me on the
like, put me on the fucking show. Like,
where
what
are your parents?
About? And it's
just hold their head out while they're punching you. Let me do stand
You can use your one punch on them.
It's surreal. It's surreal. Certain people. I just think about when I had agents and managers, and I was this little actor, and like the way that I view Alex, who's my age.
Yeah.
And I'm just like with the same manager, and it's just like this. It's just weird. It's just that's where I feel being an adult, where I talk to like the booker of the thing, and I'm like, oh, we're both figuring out like, how are we do we want to move next year? And what's our life going to be? And like, you're not better. Like, it's just very different.
It is.
And
it is. Yeah. I was thinking about that recently. I started at like, how old were you all when you started doing it?
I was 38.
38?
Started stand up, 26, 27.
Okay, I was like 25.
Yeah.
And I think about that all the time where I'm like, I remember lamenting that I didn't do it younger. And I was like, well, if you did it younger, you would have just said so many things you don't mean.
Sure.
You don't know who you are, and you're certainly not funny yet. And so I'm grateful for that. And then I've also lamented not starting at old, but I'm like, I did start at the exact moment where I was just naive enough to just like fucking eat shit every night of my life. I had a bomb the other day that I haven't had in a while. Just it was like 12 people in the room. It was a blast. It was just an absolutely dead show. But just got off stage and I was like, oh my God, it feels incredible.
Yeah.
So like the back of my neck is so hot and those people hate me so much and I just haven't felt that specific thing in a while.
Alive. I kicked a glass into an audience member the other day.
God.
I put my fucking water on the stage, forgot about it, kicked it, sprayed everyone.
Let's go.
Yes.
I had a Laugh Factory corporate gig recently, and it was pretty incredible. I haven't had and it was also one of those where the person going up before me, like to be blunt, felt like I was a better stand-up comedian. Sure. And I've had this before where I'm like, okay, all right, time to show them how it's done. And you go up there and you're like, this audience is really hard. This audience is really hard, though, to be fair. This audience is... And I remember I've had that moment since when I was year one, year this.
Because there is the errant... Or probably more likely than it is not, that it's like, you can get them. Like, even if it's kind of a bad crowd, you're a good comic, you can get them. And then it's when you say that to yourself the loudest in your head, we're like, well, of course I'm going to do fine when you just absolutely eat shit. Just like all the people who have come before you.
Well, I was saying, the one thing I always bring up with Laura, so I auditioned sort of at the Comedy Store at some point, and Laura was there. You know, she had 10 cigarettes in her mouth, and I said, "Can I get one?" And I don't smoke very often, but I
didn't give
do.
you a cigarette the other night. Sorry. Go
no,
ahead.
it's yeah, I know. And you said I'm going to get cigarettes, and I was just standing around. Then you came back. You said you came back with like 3 drinks. You're like, oh, I'm gonna get the cigarettes right now. And then you left again, and then I had to go to my spot, and then I left, and I saw you.
I will tell you that I came back to where you were standing with the pack of cigarettes, and I said, "Of course he's gone. Of course it's been 40 minutes, and he had to go do comedy."
No, it's so fine. I mean, I probably smoke a cigarette once a month. I would do it more. Honestly,
Whenever
being at the comedy store, I'm like, oh, I would smoke a cigarette every night outside here. We don't have that in New York. We don't have room to smoke outside the thing.
That big porch, that big patio situation is like
it's practical.
Talking to comics.
It's like it's a load bear. It is a socially load bearing prop.
It really is. It really is. And it's like, I don't know. There are very few places on a patio anywhere in this country anymore where you can just have a drink and smoke a cigarette, and it's nice and it feels good.
My girlfriend really doesn't like it, but sure. I honestly, something about it me doesn't gravitate towards doing it constantly. I've always thought about it. I don't like how it smells on clothes after the fact.
It's disgusting.
I like the smell, but on clothes after, to me, it's like tied to life in disarray. Something about like
Oh,
smoky clothes smells like, oh, burn this house down.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
That's like mom and dad are fighting. Like it has that
So
expectation
okay,
really.
this is, it's fine. I had it. My
Oh, come on now.
What's the story?
So my dad dated.
Laura.
My dad dated one of my teachers when I was very young, and I don't know if it was probably when I was in the grade. I can't imagine he waited, but like for me to like go to first grade.
Like when she was your
kindergarten,
teacher.
yeah. And it was like, from my perspective, it was cool. She was cool. And suddenly she's like sleeping over, and it's like, oh, that's so cool. And we did Halloween together.
God, that's
And,
fucked up. It's really not good to do.
Yeah. Yeah, and looking back, like they were cool. Like my dad was good looking, she was good looking. Like they were like they were a
couple.
cool Halloween outfit. We all went trick or treating together. It was fun. And then my mom got her fired. At first, I thought it was just that, but my mom told me later that like they had been exchanging messages via my lunchbox. Like my dad would be like, here's for Miss blah blah blah, and back and whatever. And so years later, we all hung out. And again, like I don't know what, but she had a daughter who was my age, and I think we both came from fucked up families, and there was just like a connection there. There was a vibe.
Sure.
And I remember it was some weird situation where we saw something, and I slept. This was years later in high school.
I was
maybe.
gonna say how old? Okay.
I don't know where they hung out, and like it was a weird thing where it was late, and we were friends, but she had a boyfriend, and I don't think it was like hooking up or anything, but I slept over for some reason. In the morning I woke up, I had to take a shit, and I could not find the bathroom. There was one bathroom like right next to this girl's room, and I was like, I'm not doing that. And so I went in the basement, and it was strewn with cigarettes in a way that was like,
Dark.
like if this would be filled with cigarettes, this would be filled with cigarettes, that just everywhere. And I remember this, like, I'm in this, like, basement, and it's weird, and there's cigarettes, and I had to take a shit, and it was, like, it was just so... It's something about that. It all connects. That and the anti-smoking ads were effective on the kind of person I am.
100%. And it's just such a sense memory. That memory has everything.
For sure.
It's a full service memory.
It really is. That memory rocks.
It can traumatize you from every angle you can imagine.
I was almost fucking the girl, and I don't know.
It really was.
My parents would be very upset to hear me say this on a podcast. I hope they don't listen, but they're still both smokers to this day. It's going to kill them. It's the worst thing about them. I love them very much. But when I was young, smoking indoors to me, this has changed for me now, but smoking indoors to me was they had a fireplace in their room, and when it was like really cold outside, we would all hang out on the floor and like a big pile, and they would smoke cigarettes into the fireplace, and we would like watch movies together. And that it would be like freezing outside. That memory, I'm like, fuck, that's
How
awesome.
do you escape smoking if it's not just addictive but nostalgic?
Smoking is nostalgia.
That's gotta feel so
for me.
good.
It is. It's fat.
To light up a stick of your childhood? That should be the ad.
Light up a stick of your childhood.
When they find out that vapes are actually worse than cigarettes and they need to bring it back and they allow the advertising again,
Dude,
light
cigarettes.
up a stick of your childhood.
Mommy and Daddy love you. Both very
For now.
Both very good parents to this day. But they did. I mean, it was used to smoke cigarettes with the windows up in the car. Like we're talking like. I mean, I'm damaged, but
now was this because I remember? How old are you?
I'm 33.
33, 36. I remember going into restaurants and there being smoking and non-smoking section. It's a distant memory.
Yes.
How old are you? Oh, you said
I'm
you
40.
started stand-up at
40.
38.
Okay.
I'm 40.
Yeah.
Yes.
Do you remember non-smoking smoking?
Oh, absolutely. I remember I was going to school in London when they made smoking illegal in pubs, and it was a big deal. This was like in 2005, I want to say.
And I like it in pubs.
It was so good. I mean, like the first girl I ever kissed tasted like cigarettes. So when I think of cigarettes, I think of being gay. So
coming of age.
That's the new anti-smoking ad.
You're gay. Guess what, honey? You're gay.
Is it that I'm trying? I don't know if I've made out with anyone like right after a cigarette. Is it gross or is it like
I don't think of it
smoked
as
salmon? Like,
As a,
I don't.
it's almost
Like
an
smoke.
interesting way to put it. Yeah,
No.
it's not necessarily awful.
I've been smoking my entire adult life, so I really can't. I can't speak to that. I could call some men that I've made out with who were
I don't think it's bad.
non-smokers.
I honestly, the first time, I think maybe because it's nostalgic for me, so
Yeah.
I think of it as like, oh, I'm coming home
Yeah,
Yeah,
to the taste of flavor country.
Yeah.
I love
What
that.
about your husband? Does if you go to kiss him, he says, "Brush
No,
your teeth."
he it does not bother him at all because he also smoked for years. He does so less. He'll smoke when he has a drink, and increasingly I'm the same way.
Does he ever have you smoke before kissing? He's like, "Go have a cigarette and come on back."
Yeah, he's got a fetish. Ash in your mouth and come back and touch me.
Gross.
Well, I was in Tennessee. Was one of the last bastions of indoor smoking in the U.S. It was like Tennessee and Kentucky.
Yeah.
And there was this bar that we used to go to all the time, and it was the same thing they were going to outlaw, and everybody was so enraged, and it was just where smokers went to like do karaoke and drink and stuff. And I hadn't been back in like since they outlawed it, and I went back a couple years ago, and I went in that place, and I was like, well, goddamn it, if this isn't 100% better. Like, what were we doing? It is an insane, it's a very small bar, and it's like your clothes reek. It's impossible to get it off. Like, it is insane. It's awful, but
It's objectively gross.
yes.
But
It's cool
Oh,
as
this makes me want
hell.
to do it more. I always say the other thing that I did is when I was in Europe, I did like backpacking when I was like 21 after college, and I
Okay.
went to a German beer festival, and it's a cigar, not a cigarette, but I smoked like my first cigar, like a massive, and I got a kind of
Wow.
sick in my head that was so, it was like nausea of the brain, and I threw up from it too. It was a different kind of pain.
I've tried a cigar once or twice in my life. I'm like, this is just hurts.
Well,
Cigarettes are pleasurable.
I watched the episode where you had the Zin.
Oh, did you see that?
You Zin boy? No.
So Casey Shranima
I love Casey.
gave me a Zin, and I put it in, and 15 minutes later, I almost stopped the podcast because you can see my color changed, and I almost threw up, and it was crazy.
I've tried them. They really hurt. Like it hurt my mouth. I mean, as a smoker, it's funny to say, and it's like that's disgusting. But it's like hurts your mouth, hurts the back of your throat. Did it make you nauseous?
Oh yeah.
Did you vomit?
I was very close. I had to like eat. Luckily I had some almonds there, and I just like
Thank
was
God.
shoveling in
Jordan
almonds, just
almonds.
anything. Do
just
you?
hungry.
So okay. So your parents smoked while you were a kid.
Parents smoked when I was a kid.
Any particular brand?
My dad used to smoke. What was his brand forever? He now smokes Pall Mall Ultralights. Was he smoking Benson's when I was? No. I can't remember his original brand. My mom, lifelong Virginia Slim smoker.
Virginia Slim, is it taste any different?
It's just a little girly little cigarette.
Yeah.
It's just a cute little long one.
I wanna try 'em.
They're so cute.
It's like
They're so
thinner, right?
Yeah, it's thin and quite long and very like ladylike looking.
Now, is it weird to like menthol? Like, is that like lame?
I love a menthol.
Okay, because I like
too.
menthol.
Like a menthol
love it.
cigarette too?
I love
Well, I tell you,
it.
there's the cigar that I had that I really liked. It was called like Sugar Lips, and so they dip the end that you puff, so it's sugary every time you take a puff, and it's like a little
my.
candy.
I was about to say that's a step away from vaping. I guess.
Yeah, it's vaping for men.
It's
Um,
we're coming up with so many good slogans. For this.
that's why they had to stop the advertising because it fucking worked.
It
It
rocks.
advertised
brutal.
itself.
Because it absolutely rocks.
Did you, where you grew up, were a lot of people doing this, or was your parents unique? Because you grew up in
Nashville. It is certainly unique for them to still be smoking now, but as a child, I think everybody was smoking. All those kids were smoking. And
you go to school and everyone smells like cigarettes?
Teachers did, yeah.
Wow.
And a lot of the parents smoked. Maybe not as many as I'm remembering.
Did
'cause I
any
was
of the
just around so
did
much.
any of the messaging that I got, did it ever infiltrate at all?
I think I'm like, I can't say this for certain because I don't remember like being cognizant of it, but I think if you showed me an anti-smoking ad, I would have been like, but mommy and daddy, like,
Yeah.
Oh, they'd be so sad if they heard me say that, but it's true. I was
Did
like,
you have any
I was
like my grandfather died certainly because he was a smoker.
Yeah, yeah.
And he had, this like early on.
Yeah.
And we knew it was because of cigarettes. Did you have any grandparents who
Yep.
died from it?
I didn't have grandparents who died from it, but I had grandparents who smoked heavily, and then would quit over the years for various circumstances.
Really?
But I'm curious what's gonna make my parents do, like if anything, or if
So
they're
what's
just
stopping you?
locked
So
in.
you talk about it very bluntly. Do you ever say to yourself, I need to say something?
To them?
Yeah.
Oh, I talk to them about it all.
You
the
do?
time. I have every uncomfortable conversation with my parents every single time I talk to them. Do you know what I mean? I'm like,
do you say, Mom?
Gianmarco, you jest. The amount of times that I've told my parents to stop smoking while I am smoking a cigarette is hilarious. And they're not even like, you're being hypocritical. They're like, I know. I'm like, I'm young. I'm going to be fine. I need to quit, certainly, but I'm going to be totally fine. And increasingly as I get older, I drink a lot, but I only smoke. I'm not waking up in the morning and having a cigarette. I've never been that kind of smoker.
Have you ever thought to tell them, I will quit if you quit?
That's what
yes,
I was thinking.
and I have. I've quit for 2 years at a time. I've been like,
do they want you to quit?
I'm sure they do, but they have no leg to stand on in telling me that. You know what I mean?
Sure.
So it's like it is obviously, for very obvious reasons, so much more important to me that they do it than it is for them that I do it. But I'm just like, this will be the thing that kills you. There's like, you're in your 60s, you're almost in your 70s. It's gonna be the bad thing. But
how heated are we talking? Like, do you ever?
I'm yelling.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm very open. I'm very.
And they just go. We're not.
They go. I know. Or my mom will be like, it's Christmas or whatever. You know?
I love Santa coming down the chimney and be like, Jesus Christ. God, you put it out in the cookie? Fucking A, get your life together. That's tough. That's tough. Do you get mad at them? Is there like a health scare leads to it? I mean,
yeah. I mean, I've got my father was in a really, really bad car accident or a motorcycle accident when he was very young, and so he has had like incredible problems with his body his entire life, just like multiple back surgeries. His knees are fucked up. He broke like every bone in his body. So he is constantly like, his doctors are constantly like, we can't fix this thing until you're healthy enough for us to do it. You need to quit smoking. And he'll like quit for a little while and then get back to it. And that's what infuriates me. I'm like, you know, you can do this, and you're at an age where it is like dire that you do choose to do it. And I talk about it in therapy all the time, but I'm like, I'll tell them about it until my last breath, but I can't make them do anything. They're adults. They can only do as much as they want.
I've been thinking about, my dad needs to get hearing aids bad, and my dad and I we're not in a great communicative place, and he's for all I know, he's gone in certain ways.
What do you think? How old's your father?
72,
okay.
I believe. Yeah, it is hard to differentiate. Like, he's always been a little bit weird, but hearing aids for sure. And I've multiple people have told me, they say certainly if he has dementia or if he has anything, the hearing, and I need to do it. We're not that close, but I keep, there's just moments. I have pangs in the day where I go, what are you doing?
Yes.
What are you doing? You're not going to say, and I feel like I'm going to text it. I don't think it's going to work. I think if anything, this is just to make me feel better.
I mean, hey.
But I was thinking about like writing a text and just being like, hey, but it's like, it's having that conversation. He obfuscates in a way that I just immediately inside I go, I can't do this.
I know.
I can't.
It's all, I don't know, the line between like, it is not your responsibility to do it.
Do you ever threaten you won't see them anymore?
What?
Do you ever say, I'm not visiting until you quit smoking?
So my I can't do that. I love them too much. I can't even threaten that. Because I'm so scared for them all the time that I'm like, I'm coming home as soon as I can kind of thing.
Yeah.
But my brother, who lives in Nashville still, they're going to have a baby, trying for a baby, and he was like, I will not let you hold my child if you don't quit smoking.
Yeah, that's a card.
That's the big dog.
That's
big
card.
Dog shit. That's big dog shit.
Oh.
How do they react to that?
I mean, I think they both took that very seriously, and they ought to, because he sounds very serious about it. He's like, you won't hang with the baby, your grandkid, that you've wanted your entire life.
Yeah, it's like, what do you want more in this life?
I know. She's like, a Virginia Slim, unfortunately.
Wow.
It would be so.
Yeah, that's their new ad. It's better than your grandkids.
Fuck those grandkids.
Better than your
Virginia
grandkids.
Slim, it's better than your grandkids. What?
All right. Well, let me just see if there's anything else before going to this. It's got to stop. These are my notes.
Oh, I'm excited
of
for
everything
this
we've talked about. So what happened is I spoke to Cigarette before my audition at the Comedy Store.
God, I'm so sorry.
And I'm so not used to it that like the moment I got on stage, I had like I'd tickle at like
Oh no.
the back of my throat, and so I'd have to like I had to try to like get the punchline on a way where I wasn't coughing, and I did a lot of like.
Oh no.
My parents got divorced when I was 7 days old. And it was brutal.
I sabotaged the shit out of John.
This made me want a cigarette so bad. I know.
I know.
I'm sure there'll still be some comments of like, don't endorse. But
cool.
everyone's vape. There's no way this vaping is good.
That's
No,
what
it's
I'm
terrible
saying.
for you.
I mean, I see some of this vaping. I'm like, we're back. Like, when you live long enough, you're like, man, the world just cycles and cycles.
Dude. And it's like, I'm sorry, but the longitudinal studies are not there. We have no idea what the long-term effects of that shit is. Cigarette smoking, horrible for you. But, I'm going to have a heart attack at 75 or something, or get lung cancer. It's like,
What about herbal? You ever try herbal?
I have tried it. It just doesn't scratch that itch.
Yeah.
Also, aren't they harder to smoke?
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're weird to deal with, which is
Yeah.
half of my
Now, your
battle.
brother's rule, I feel like it's only fair if he imposes it on you as well.
Well, oh no, Gianmarco.
Do you want to quit? Do you want to quit? Is there no world you can imagine? You said you used to do it more.
I've quit. I've quit for years at a time. I started running a lot and quit during the pandemic. I've done it.
What would be perfect? What would be like in your mind where you're like, you know what? This is my small vice. Like one a day?
Oh, I see. My husband, my father-in-law smokes one cigarette at the end of every day.
I like that.
It's the coolest shit I've ever seen in my life.
And if I'm with friends too.
Yeah,
I'm coming up with my.
Well, if you give me one sip of alcohol, I'll smoke 10 cigarettes, but and that's the downside.
You know
for
what?
me.
Let me tell you. This is when I wished when I was in Europe for that trip. Let me tell you something. This is the problem with blanket advice. I'm not a social person. I'm much better now. But when I was fucking going around Europe, when I needed to be making friends, every new city I went to, I did not know how to do it. You want to make friends. You go outside and you have cigarettes for someone else?
Yeah.
Or you have the lighter? Oh, my God.
You're a king.
Oh, my God.
You're a king.
I think I probably would have sex. I probably had sex twice as much. I bet you. I bet you. And it's not even. I bet people smokers have more sex. It's not just because it's fucking cool as shit, and that it makes you gay, and that it reminds you of childhood. It's also a social tool.
It is. Also, I have tried to name this many times, and I don't think I can articulate it as well as I want to. But there is something about. I had a friend when I was trying to quit. She told me, she was like, you can just go outside. And I was like, do you know how much bad stand-up I don't have to watch because I'm a cigarette smoker? If I go outside in the middle of someone's set just because I feel like being outside without the excuse of a cigarette, I'm caught. I'm caught red-handed. I don't like your comedy. And I just feel I feel like it's such a good excuse. But I also feel like the reason that I like the smoker community is that I see someone smoking a cigarette and they can look like anything. They can look any range of attractiveness, age, whatever. And I go, you have a little bit of pain behind your eyes, and you probably want to respect yourself a lot more than you do, and I like you for that, because I struggle with the exact same thing, and I feel immediately kindred towards you, because you're disrespecting yourself in this small way that I also enjoy.
Yeah.
And there's something about it. I love them. I love smokers across the world.
What can you say? What can you say?
Smoker sexual.
I'm a smoker sexual.
God, I can't wait to have a cigarette.
People are gonna get so mad at this episode. I really
How can you
apologize.
get mad anymore? How can you get mad? If you were influenced by this, if this is what did it for you.
You're right. And the fact that you can't see, I mean, we were talking a lot about advertising for cigarettes, but it's like, what, you can advertise gambling every 2 seconds?
Yeah, the fucking gambling. That's way worse. That's way worse. Yeah, you get to live a longer life, but with no money.
Exactly.
I remember the first time I went to a hookah. I didn't do like a lot of hookah bar stuff, but I went to a couple. And I remember the first time a girl did a shotgun.
Yeah,
with smoke
hottest
in my
thing in the
mouth.
world.
Oh my
Oh
god.
my
It's the best.
It's the best.
Oh my
It'll make you gay.
It'll make you gay.
Cigarettes. You're gay.
Let's go on to our This Has Gotta Stop.
This has gotta
This is
stop.
where something we complain, big, small, personal, large. I will start. this has got to stop. Shit talking in LA.
Ooh.
People are paranoid here in a way that I think is outsized. Now look, I've made the mistake before. I have said some things, and there are certain things I have not gotten in my career that I'm starting to connect the dots. But
chalkboard, talk shit about this person.
there's one I'm dying so bad because it's like, well, I said one thing about this person in a car in 2019 to someone who opened for them once, and I don't think it's that, but I want to know for sure. I want to know for sure.
Those things haunt me.
I got a fight with a comic recently too. I keep deciding if I talk about it or not. They did so let's see how loose we can keep it. I was headlining somewhere. It wasn't like a headlining weekend. It was local.
Okay.
Had an opener, different openers. Had an opener for that night. We had been confirmed. They had been confirmed through someone else.
Okay.
But a network. This is the vague part.
Okay.
Suddenly, 7:00, that's showtime, no one's there.
Uh-oh.
I've been in a space, I have not had the capacity to check for these things. I assumed the person was confirmed, that's what I was told. I wrote them via Instagram, like, hey, where are you? And they wrote back something that was like apologetic, but not the kind I like.
Yeah.
Where an apology that doesn't seem to take in the situation
that you're currently
in. Yeah. Just kind of like my bad, I wasn't in there. I hope I can make it up to you, and then some emojis.
Oh, wait, so not even addressing. Wait, were they unaware that they were on the show?
So all the facts that I had was confirmed, and then not there, and them. So that's all I knew.
Okay.
So for the facts that I knew, was not a sufficient apology. And all I said in my mind is I was not in a great mood to begin with. But I wanted to not be, roll over or whatever. So I just said, yeah, put me in a really bad position. Okay, not great. Could be worse. I said, yeah, put me in a bad position. No punctuation. Then they wrote back, lol. And I get, fuck, dude.
Not the
and then it was
lol.
like, I was never given this fucking information. I just flew. I don't know if they said fucking. I'm mad at fucking. But I was never given this information. I had a flight that got in today at this time, which, by the way, irrelevant to me.
Yes.
But didn't have the
Certainly.
information. So I don't know what else you want me to say.
Okay.
And so then I wrote back, the big boy I am. I wrote back, lol. Doing a little mirroring. Always like a little mirroring of rudeness. And then I said, clearly we were both fed incorrect information. I didn't say I'm sorry, but I said, I'll certainly take it up with this person.
Sure.
But first of all, the immediate lol,
Bad lol.
to mine made me go, you weren't sorry to begin with. So I was correct in the lack of sorry. Did I not have all the information? No, but I didn't go, fuck you.
Yeah.
I didn't go, fuck you, you fucked me over.
went-
I just said, you put me in a bad position.
Mm-hmm.
And listen, they wrote back and they're like, and again, they don't have to be deferential to me, but I didn't say fuck you. They could have just said, listen,
Yeah.
I did not have any of this information. And then it would be my turn. The ball would be in my court. But the lol.
The
lol right before I
Also,
So-
an immediate lack of explanation. It deserves more of an explanation than that.
And again, from
Yeah.
their end,
Not just my bad.
Yeah.
from their end, someone said, "Hey, do you want to open for Gianmarco at this date?" Sure. Send me the information. Never got the information. Suddenly, someone's mad at them on a Sunday, and they just flew in at 5:30 p.m.
Sure.
I get it.
Wow, that's
I get it. I can see it from their side. But I'm willing to see it from their side. Can they see it from my side? Can they see it from my side for a second?
They said lol.
I have a sold-out show, and I said, "Do you want to do it?" And I could have been someone else, and now I'm fucked.
Yeah.
lol. And there was one thing I wanted. I mean, and then Tove and I got in a fight because I came home, and after a great weekend, I was like,
were in a bad mood.
lol.
Yeah.
And I said, I'm going to say this, and she's like, don't say that. I said, I wasn't going to say that. I was just telling you. What if I said that? And it was a disaster. And I was like, I need a cigarette right now. I'll tell you that. So my problem with LA shit talking though is like, we were talking about Emilia Perez. And
people think they're connected enough to Emilia Perez.
But that's my thing. So they go, well, and I'm like, Selena Gomez is not at the Earth Cafe right now. You can speak freely.
Oh God.
Speak freely.
I gotta say, I'm not. Are you having this conversation with comics?
Not necessarily. There's a lot of like, literally someone did one at like a full, and I was like, there's no one there. We can talk a little softer if you want to. It's probably fine. And you know what? Maybe it's good to know you should take an acting class.
I don't know what she is.
Guess who's not going to say it? Your assistants, your manager, your agent, your anyone. Who's going to say it? A random shitty cop. That's the one you need to. You got to listen. Not all critics, but sometimes you got to hear a little. What's going on?
Yeah.
And so that's my thing. It's like, I get it. You got to be more careful here. You can relax.
Yeah,
we can talk.
I went to the last time I was in New York. I was both surprised by and comforted by the ease with which people were saying that they were mad at people. And it felt really good. All of it was very justified. It would be somebody 15 feet away from you, like at the cellar. I'm like, wow, you guys are really honest with each other.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't have, I'm a big scaredy bitch, and I don't have the confidence to do that. So I respect it when it's done well. Yeah.
So because we had a car ride back from the party of the special taping, and we were talking some shit, and then you texted me to be like, I'm sorry, I was shit talking that person, and I was like, Laura, there is nothing I'd rather be talking about
than shit
talking a famous comedian.
He literally texted me,
like,
are you
kidding me? That's my ideal conversation.
That's so great.
Kristin, do you have this gotta stop?
Yes, this has gotta stop. There are too many ways to die.
There
are too many ways to die, and I'm hearing about them all the time.
That's so good.
I'm serious. Like,
what's one that you could knock off your
okay, so
plate?
I was at Powwow last summer, and they had a stand with bear sausages, and I was just like, I can't eat bear sausages because bear meat has prions in it, which is like a protein that can cause brain damage.
Whoa!
You can't. Yeah, there are too many ways to die.
Oh my God!
I think that if there aren't going to be fewer ways to die, we need to stop telling everyone about them. I don't want to know about all the ways to die anymore. I just like it's crippling. It's paralyzing to know.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah. Like I think that die in your sleep, suicide, murder, and then we'll take a vote on the last two.
I love these.
We'll take a vote on the last two.
The Trinity, though.
Yeah, because we need a way out. We need a way to take people out. And then,
we need a peaceful way.
And we have a nice option. We have a good option. But I think that the other two, we'll take a vote on which of the, I don't know. Drowning's not going to be one of them.
Sure.
Definitely
Fire's not going to be one.
Definitely not.
Sure.
Definitely not.
And I'm like, as someone, it's funny you talk about this because as someone who's constantly afraid that they're going to die, it's like the other day my wife said to me, like, you can't die of both Alzheimer's and cancer. Like, you have to pick one. Decide which one you're more afraid of.
Oh my God, that's so
I like
funny.
that.
Decide which one you're more, because we can't do this where you're just afraid to die.
You're telling me they can't be comorbid?
No, one of them's going to take you out first. You can't die of multiple things. And I feel like every time I log on to X, I hear more about things that are going to kill me. And I don't have it anymore.
Yeah.
I can't do it.
Something recently happened on Twitter where it started getting some death, some fucked up videos.
Oh God. Yeah.
And it had gone away for a while, but it's like, before I know it, it's like someone diving and immediately go that thing's too shallow. He's going to come up and his head's going to be, and it's just you see it. And you see it,
God.
It fucks you up.
Perfect platform, Elon.
Yeah. I should be able, I feel like it's my right to have bear sausage at Powwow. I shouldn't have to be like, sorry, I Googled about prions and now I got to hide in the corner like a fucking bitch baby.
I didn't even know that bear sausage was a thing. That sounds...
Me neither.
I mean, I don't know what it sounds like,
it's
but
delicious.
I want to put it in my mouth. Is it?
Yeah, it's really good.
Is it good?
It's really
RFK
good.
is fucked.
I know.
That's so crazy, though. And, see... you both have to be aware of them and you seek them and you're the seeker outer. You know what I mean? Like you had to do the Google. I would have done the Google. I would have been like, can I have this?
Yeah, I'm Captain. I know all the ways to die.
And then you're looking around at everybody enjoying their fucking bear sausage.
Yeah. And you're like, guess what? Wee you. I'm here to stop the party.
Wee you.
It's the death police, bitch. Wee you.
So, I'm really my siren sound is bad. Yeah.
I love that. If there had to be 3, I'm sorry. I think those are the perfect 3 ways to die. I mean, they should be the only ones. Not the perfect ways. Suicide's perfect.
Sorry.
What's your this gotta stop?
I wrote down a couple. Is that okay?
That's fine.
Okay. This just happened to me, and so I don't want it to ever happen to me again. Someone there was a really good photo of me, and one of my friends said, "Oh, I hardly recognized you."
Wow.
What?
But it's not like you presented it as like this. Look at me.
No.
They didn't realize that to you this was a good photo.
See, that's the thing.
No, jail.
Yeah,
Jail.
Yes, I tend to be on your side.
Prison.
But you're absolutely
Yeah.
right. Oh my god, I didn't even recognize you. I look
Yeah.
amazing. My body looks snatched for once in my life, and you didn't recognize me.
Sure.
Oh my god, so bad. Oh, and in that same vein, put an outfit together recently, and a friend said, "That's actually really cute." Actually.
Wow.
Under the jail.
Actually, under the prison under the jail.
For me, the first time my mom met my girlfriend, she had just flew into Vegas, and my mom said, first thing, "Wow, you dressed comfortably." And I was like, what the fuck did you just say? Oh my god, I'm gonna be talking about this all night. Are you serious? I could not believe it. I could not believe it.
Well, you look. Somebody looks cozy.
No.
That's like a southern mom.
Yeah.
thing.
Bless your heart. You look so cozy.
Oh, you look so good. She looks so
Well, my
comfortable.
girlfriend, when she wears like all black or like super baggy, I go, I didn't know you were gonna be Chabad again. I just kidding.
Fun.
I said that would be as a joke, but we both came from very my single dad bad dresser and then Chabad.
Oh my god, I love
a lot of mute colors.
She is often in all black too, Tova, isn't she?
She still is that. I'm always pushing. I'm always like, come on, let's get the pink shorts.
Yeah. You're a pop of color guy.
I'll always be the color guy.
Yeah.
Okay, wait, I had one more. Is that okay? What was it though? Oh, this is I used to have a joke about this and I don't do it anymore, but I stand by this. When you have met somebody before and whatever, how many people do you meet a fucking day? This is a very social industry. I meet so many people. I'm not the best at remembering people. And you meet them again, you reintroduce yourself and they go, "Yeah, we've met."
Yeah.
You know what the easiest thing in the world to do is this exactly. I've met you before and you reintroduce yourself to me.
Okay. Hi, I'm Gianmarco.
Oh, Gianmarco. Yeah, we did a show together like a couple years ago. It was that bar show. It was really fun. It's good to see you again. How simple is that?
Oh, you're done with the act out?
How simple is it? That's what you do.
I was still in it.
Oh, go.
I don't think so.
I would have remembered someone as abrasive as you. But doesn't sound like me.
I 100% agree with you. It's tough though. People like Bill Clinton, for example, they say he never forgot a name.
That's amazing.
He never forgot a name, and I go like that will help you succeed in this world.
It's a fabulous quality.
Yeah.
It's so niche, but Alex Brightman, who's like a big Broadway star, we were doing a Zoom rehearsal for a sketch show. He saw my sketch team's member. Her husband was in the background of the Zoom. I was like, "Oh my God, Max! I remember when you sang this at musical theater camp 15 years ago." And I was like, "That's part of why you are where you are. That's
lovely.
crazy.
It's absolutely lovely. I would never deny that.
But people interpret it as caring, and people will say they'll say to me like, "Oh, you don't remember people's names because you're so self-centered, you're so narcissistic." I'm like, believe you me, I have met psychopaths who can remember names plenty well.
Yeah, that's true.
It is not a sign of like being a loving person.
Yes.
It's memory.
Yes.
It's memory.
Yeah.
I 100% agree. I have this bad thing where like if I get recognized on the street because I'm so neurotic of not knowing someone, they'll go up to me, they'll be like, "Oh," and I will give them a hug because I think they're someone I know, and surely I have to give them a hug. And then we start talking. I'm like, man, oh man,
I do that all
Do you really?
the time.
I do it all the time. It's awful.
And it takes me way too long to be like, we do not know each other, and now I'm just in this conversation.
And then again, sometimes they're confused, and then I'm confused, and then we both realize. But I feel so bad if you don't remember someone. You're saying to them like, they know who you are, and you're saying, "Oh, I didn't know you existed."
Yeah.
If you died, and they said so and so died, I'd say who?
Not
And if they showed
don't-
me a picture, I'd go, I don't know him, and you know me, and you thought about me. You don't exist to me.
Oh my God.
Like that's a horrible thing to do to someone. And I don't even.
It hurts.
I do it to men. When men introduce themselves to me for the third time, I'm like, we've met before. And
Oh,
it probably isn't going well for me, but
Whatever.
They can handle it.
It's like a conversation for me after that after the very curt, yeah, we fucking like that kind of. It's kind of like an aggro response. I walk away from it going, well.
Yeah.
I go,
off to forget this person again.
Off to forget you again.
Yeah. Okay, we're low on time real quick, so before we do our blessings, let me say real quick, join the Patreon, patreon.com/downside. Thank you to Spotify Studios for letting us use their glorious space. We may have one more without Russell, but Russell's coming back. And again, join the Patreon to see a lot of him, patreon.com/downside. Do you have a blessing?
I do. My dog is the greatest dog in the world. She is amazing. She is my service dog, technically. Yeah. Her job is to make sure I don't kill myself, and she is fantastic at it. I have never died. I love her.
That's great.
I love her. She is fucking, I mean, she doesn't bark. She's house trained. She knows one trick kind of well. It doesn't really matter. She's the perfect dog. And every day, I'm just like, I'm so glad that I don't have a child, but I do have you.
Oh, I love that. I love that. That's beautiful. That's beautiful.
Wonderful. For my blessing.
What's her name?
No, I like dogs.
Wonderful.
Wonderful. Yeah, we've met.
How big is the dog?
Yeah, how big?
She's 65 pounds.
Oh, big. What is she?
She's a pit bull.
How tall?
She's a pit, but she's like this tall,
That's fine.
this long.
I've seen some dogs in LA that are fucking horses out here.
A lot of people have dogs.
They are fucking massive, and I go, that's like, in an airport you can bring a carry-on, and that's okay. But you can't bring out a full suitcase. That's what it's like. I go, yeah, dogs are allowed here. That's a wolf. Yes. And I'm trying to have breakfast.
Yes.
So I think the same way outside of an airport, you got like the thing, you got to have a dog.
I like that.
I mean, my God.
It's too large.
That's
large. The exact size dog that I want.
That's fine.
Yeah, that's
okay,
perfect.
Great. Thank you.
That's the cutoff.
I'm glad it's allowed.
We'll let her live.
My blessing. So I had a full a weekend. We normally don't have people over. We don't have in New York. We don't have space. Simply put, we've never had a group over.
Entertained.
Most two, and it's rough. So we had a Shabbat dinner. We had a game day. And I do think Chris Grace, a friend of mine, he's been on the podcast before. He guides this game called, I think it's called Blood on the Clock Tower. It's like kind of a in mafia like game.
Yeah.
And we organized a game night in New York, and we rented out like a Ripley Greer practice studio to do it. And now we're doing it at a place. And it really, like, for me, my family did not have company coming over in general. It feels foreign to me. It's scary to me. Do I have enough things? Is there enough food? And honestly, I feel like my girlfriend, listen, she's leading the way. She's leading the charge, and she knows how it is from Jewish and Shabbat dinner. Mm-hmm. But for me, Chris, he did that game night in New York. He did this game day. I felt like he provided the spine to the event.
Lovely.
Organizing, and he narrates it and controls it all. And I feel like now I'm like, okay, I can have people over, and I know what I need to get done, even if Tova wasn't there.
Yeah.
I think it would still be stressful without Tova, but I think I got it now.
That's lovely.
I got it a little bit
so
more.
Nice.
I went to Staples. I got the chair. You can get chairs. You need chairs. You get a couple chairs, and it's fine.
Yeah. That's the feeling of Carson and I have just really started to do. Entertaining is so fun.
Yeah.
If you have the space and if you whatever, but it's such a good feeling to have people in your home. That rocks.
Yeah. Do you have a blessing?
I do. I have kind of a blessing in disguise that I've been thinking about. So I was very angry today. I had a very bad day today. Carson and I have been trying to move for a long time. We're trying to move to the Silver Lake area. We found this place. It was fucking beautiful. It was exactly what I wanted. I went to go see it by myself last week, and then we were communicating with the guy last night. Of course, every place that you move in LA, there are 17 people behind you. It is so the pressure is insane. Everybody's willing to pay any amount of money. People are buying or renting places without seeing them. Just preposterous marketplace, especially after the fires. But we found a place. It was fairly priced, rent controlled, in a neighborhood I really liked. And I went to go see it, and we sent in the applications, and the guy was like, it's very competitive, blah, 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 blah. But he was like, you guys have been selected, you're going to have this home. And we got that email last night. So we were very excited. We went and got ice cream about it. And then I was like, you know what? I had one issue. And I was like, I want you to see the play. I was the only one that saw it. I took a video. I was like, can we come by tomorrow morning? And then we signed the lease. I just asked the question that way. And immediately got an email back. Your offer has been rescinded. And this whole day, I've just been like, these fucking blood-sucking psychopaths. I am so tired of the landlord process. I'm like, you don't have the good faith, the goodwill to trust that I am not trying to... You told me there are 15 people behind me. You can wait 4 more hours. I'm still going to hand you $7,000 in a couple days, or someone else's. And it's like, you can't give me the grace of... This has been a terrible day. It was truly horrifying.
So this was in Silver Lake, the place you were looking?
Yes. It was so
okay. That sucks. Wait, was there a blessing?
Do you know? I told you that this was the right day for me to come on the downside. I've been so pissed off today. The blessing is that my lease is not up. We always have a place to stay. I always have food on a table. I always have clothes on my body, and I'm grateful for that. And I feel good today for that reason.
Very nice.
You brought it back.
Where can people find you? This is coming out March 11th.
March 11th. Okay, I'm starting touring on March 5th. I'm going to be in a million different cities. Find it all on my Instagram at Laura Peek, Peek, comedy.com. LAURAPEEK.
Excellent.
No, wait, sorry. What did I say? Instagram, Laura, LAURAPEEK, comedy. And my links in there.
We'll put the links in there. Where can people find you?
I'm at KristinChirico.com. Sign up for my mailing list. And I'm at It's Kristin Chirico on Instagram.
Excellent. I'm at Gianmarco Soresi. I'll be this weekend. I will be in March 21st through 22nd. I'll be in Tacoma. March 23rd, I'll be in Spokane. St. Louis after that. April 3rd, Dayton, Ohio. But find me at Gianmarco Soresi everywhere. Laura, thank you for being here.
Thank you for having
Kristin,
me.
thank you so much. It was I think people will agree. I hope you enjoyed the last 2 episodes. 101 is different. This felt right on the money for me. So thank you. Thank you for that.
Good job,
And thank you for listening. Patreon.com/downside. Thank you to Spotify. And I do have to run because my girlfriend just told me we literally just got accepted for this place in Silver Lake we've been looking at. And this is the downside.
You're listening to The Downside.
The Downside.
With Gianmarco Soresi.